In the opening scene, an orderly guy is seen carrying Anna Fritz's body into a funeral home. She died in a bathroom during a private party, and they're supposed to perform an autopsy on her the following day. As he takes her inside, he lines her up with the other bodies and uncovers her face to take a creepy photo with his phone. Later on, these two guys, Ivan and Javi, show up at the same hospital. They request to see that guy who brought Anna in. Once he shows up, Ivan goes to him in the lobby to ask if he's got more photos of the corpse to show them. He laughs and tells him that there's going to be a party. He invites Pao to come along, but Pao says he's got to work for another hour until midnight. Then he asks him to find a place for them to do some drugs. So Pao takes them to the dumpster out back. He warns them not to touch the yellow one because it's got human waste in it. Javi gets all pissed off because it smells like crap back there, but then he busts out a bottle and some cups, and Pao reluctantly joins in. He says he doesn't want to go to the party because he's got more stuff to do in the morning. They tell him to find another job, but he actually likes working at the funeral home. Then they're seen raising their cups in a memory of Anna Fritz, and Pao tells them to hurry up. Ivan starts asking about Anna's body and if the guy checked it out. When Pao says he did, Javi gets all serious and frowns. He tells them that they're going to keep her body at the hospital's funeral home until the next day. He then guides them to the hospital, leading them towards the funeral home. Javi initially believes it's all a joke and that they won't actually enter the place. However, Ivan insists, and they proceed by taking the elevator down to the basement. Navigating through a maze of corridors, Pao instructs them to act lost in case they encounter anyone along the way. After unlocking the door, they enter the funeral home. Javi becomes anxious and wants to leave, fearing they will be caught and unable to deceive their way out of the situation. But despite Javi's concerns, the others convince him to stay. They all recoil as Pao abruptly uncovers the sheet, exposing the body of an elderly woman, and mocks their reactions. At this point, Ivan expresses his desire to see Anna Fritz. Although Ivan uncovers Anna's face, Pao pulls the cover further down and says she doesn't even look deceased. Ivan then unexpectedly grabs Anna's breast, encouraging Javi to do the same. Reluctantly, Javi places his hand on her chest and comments on how cold she feels. Ivan expresses his desire to indulge in another line of cocaine, while Javi, waiting to leave and attend the party, is hesitant. Pao covers up the body and they both join Ivan to snort another line. Ivan claims that everybody wants to sleep with the actress who exposes her entire body. They engage in a disturbing conversation about the hypothetical experience of sleeping with a deceased woman. Pao shares a disturbing revelation about sleeping with a deceased teenage girl's body, leading Ivan to inquire if he has also slept with Anna Fritz. Javi jokingly remarks that he might do the same when they leave. However, Ivan confesses his genuine desire to sleep with her, much to Javi's disgust. Javi suggests that they leave because Ivan is intoxicated. But Pao seemingly agrees with Ivan's request and tells Javi to wait in another room until the necrophiliac act is concluded. He forcefully pushes him into the other room. Javi is deeply shocked by what's happening in front of his eyes and denounces both of his friends as sick individuals. Pao disagrees with him though, and when Ivan returns after having had his fun with the corpse, Pao decides to join in as well. Javi, being the only one who recognizes the problem, expresses his disapproval, but Ivan always finds twisted justifications demeaning living women in the process for why he should also join in on the fun. Pao proceeds to mount the body and does his own thing with it. However, to their horror, the actress unexpectedly opens her eyes. It turns out that Anna is actually alive, and upon realizing this, Pao panics. The other two rush into the funeral home as the motionless woman lying on the funeral slab stares at them. Javi is the first one to approach Anna, reassuring her to relax. He instructs the others to bring her some water, but when they hesitate, he brings the water himself and hands it to her. Meanwhile, the rest of the group remains terrified. Javi turns to Pao for guidance, asking whether they should call a doctor or take her up to the hospital. He then addresses Anna, inquiring if she feels cold, and proceeds to find something to dress her with. Ivan questions Pao about whether Anna saw him and if she is aware of what happened to her, to which Pao confirms that she did. Javi returns with a medical gown and starts to dress Anna, but Ivan intervenes and insists they need to consider everything they have to hide. That's when they hear someone approaching the funeral parlor. Javi insists that they stay and explain the situation, but the two friends ignore his plea and proceed to cover Anna's face and crunch down, attempting to conceal their actions. Suddenly, another body is brought into the funeral home by an orderly. Anna tries to summon his attention but struggles to make a sound. Although she manages to remove the cover from her face, the orderly fails to notice her and exits the room. Javi hurries back to Anna's side, trying to comfort her, but Ivan orders him to go to the other room and discuss their situation. Both Ivan and Pau are consumed by fear regarding the potential consequences if their actions were to be discovered. They knew that due to Anna's fame, the news would spread rapidly through various media outlets from newspapers to television. Javi tries to convince them that Anna is unaware of what they've done to her and that she didn't see them. However, Pau expresses concern that she might be aware, a sentiment confirmed by Ivan, who believes she will talk. He suggests they silence her permanently, but Javi doesn't want to entertain that idea. He desperately wants to leave the funeral home and starts to drag the body with him. However, Ivan intervenes, pleading with Javi not to do so because he fears the consequences of going to jail. As the only voice of reason among them, Javi questions whether they truly understand the implications of what they're asking him to do. They are essentially asking him to kill Anna, a thought that terrifies her. Javi instructs Ivan to open the door while Anna begs for her release. When they realize the door is locked, they discover that Pau has left the keys outside the room, adding to their sense of desperation. A fight breaks out between Ivan and Javi, with Ivan nearly taking Javi's life before Pau intervenes and manages to pull him away. He checks on Javi and informs the others that he is still breathing but losing a lot of blood. He then brings a sheet to cover his friend's head and apologizes to him for his actions. He suggests that instead of seeking help or calling someone, they should leave Javi in a place within the hospital where he can be easily discovered. So they drag him to another room while he struggles to breathe, his condition becoming worse. Ivan instructs Pau to bring the girl inside the room so they can contact someone from the funeral home to unlock the door. Meanwhile, he also tells Javi to lie to the police when they question him, specifically instructing him not to mention anything about the girl. Then he leaves to clean up with Pau. Javi opens his eyes, apologizing to Anna and assuring her that he will seek help. However, Anna warns him not to move as it could end up in him dying. When Ivan and Pau re-enter the room, Anna informs them that Javi is in critical condition and bleeding profusely, but Ivan tells her to be quiet. Pau rushes inside the funeral home to meet the other orderlies, while Ivan tries to keep Anna quiet. Pau informs the coworker that the night shift orderly locked him in, successfully luring the coworker away, leaving Anna and Javi alone with Ivan. Ivan then goes to check on Javi, but it turns out that he's already dead. Ivan attempts to revive him, and Anna, overcome with grief, begins to cry, having realized that Javi has passed away. Upon Pau's return, Ivan informs him of Javi's death, but he covers up, saying even if they had taken Javi upstairs, he wouldn't have survived due to his critical condition. Pau breaks down, saying they'll spend their entire lives in prison, but Ivan stays focused, claiming that they must also dispose of Javi's body now. Anna speaks, questioning if they haven't already committed enough evil and promising not to tell anyone what they did. But Ivan forcefully grabs Pau and tells him to ignore Anna and makes it clear that their next actions will define their lives forever. A heated argument ensues between Ivan and Pau, with Ivan attempting to persuade Pau that they both share equal responsibility and that if their actions were exposed, everyone would know what he did as well. Meanwhile, Anna climbs down from the slab and searches Javi's pockets for his phone. Ivan asks Pau how they will remove Javi's body from the hospital, suggesting they use a trash can and the emergency door as a means of disposal. Upon their return to the room, they discover Anna on the phone. She tells them that she has contacted her father and only told him that she has woken up and nothing else. Ivan checks the phone and realizes she dialed a number, to which she confesses that her father sought help and would come to get her. They believe it's all over since she called from Javi's phone, so they take her upstairs. However, when Anna screams, Pau insists on keeping her quiet. Then comes a call to Javi's phone from an unknown number, and Ivan answers it. He realizes Anna's call was never fully received and that she lied to him. Consequently, they return her to the funeral home. An argument ensues between Ivan and Anna, resulting in Ivan hitting her. Anna confronts Ivan, calling him disgusting. Ivan instructs Pau to restrain her while he fetches a trash can. Pau grabs some gauze and proceeds to cut it up. Despite Anna warning him that listening to Ivan will only end with him arrested, he proceeds to tie her up. She informed Pau that Ivan murdered Javi in front of her while he was out of the room, and that he had no intention of taking him to the hospital. But doubting her claims, Pao tapes her mouth shut. Meanwhile, Ivan faces a problem, retrieving the trash can due to nurses smoking in that area. While Pao cleans another room, Anna manages to remove the tape and free her hands but fails in removing the restraints from her legs. She collapses on the floor, crawls out of the funeral home, and hides just in time before Ivan returns. Seeing that she's gone, both the guys split up to search for her. Meanwhile, Anna manages to evade capture for a while by crawling through holes, but eventually falls back down and crawls to the elevator. And just when she thinks she's safe, Ivan grabs her and drags her back to the funeral home. Upon their return, Pao questions Ivan about killing Javi in his absence, but Ivan accuses Anna of trying to turn them against each other. Ivan is determined to kill her, suggesting they suffocate her with bedsheets. Both Pao and Ivan are reluctant, but ultimately, Ivan decides they should both commit the murder together. They suffocate her while she involuntarily urinates, and Pao assists Ivan in lifting her back onto the slab. They then dispose of Javi's body. Ivan leaves to get rid of the body, while Pao cleans up the funeral home and cleans Anna's body to remove any evidence. In the meantime, Ivan dumps Javi's body by the side of the road and Pao covers Anna's body, placing her back in line with the others. But the nightmare continues when he hears Anna coughing and approaches her. He tells her to pretend she's dead, and when he uncovers her, she opens her eyes and looks at him. When Ivan returns, Pao covers Anna again and urges Ivan to leave. But Ivan approaches Anna, inquiring if he completed his task. Once convinced, they eventually leave. However, before they reach the elevator, Ivan realizes he forgot his card and insists on returning to the funeral home despite Pao's attempts to dissuade him. Upon their return, they find Anna standing. Ivan attacks Pao, attempting to kill him, but Anna intervenes and repeatedly stabs him. Pao tells her that they were about to leave and she shouldn't have done what she did. However, Anna stabs Pao as well. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on the movie? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.